Well, good afternoon and welcome to H360 Live. My name is Dave Duplay. I'm joined here in the studio by my friend and colleague from Healthy h360, Miss Courtland Long. Well, today we have a great episode for you, part 2, with Linda and Bob Carey, talking about the Tutu Project. And Courtland, part 1 was so inspirational. I had that tutu on. I was so excited. And part 2 is going to be more of the same.
This is going to be a really great episode. We'll learn more about their campaign, #DareToTutu. We'll also learn about Bob's efforts to raise breast cancer awareness through these photos. They're so incredible. We'll learn about how he chooses locations and the inspiration that they provide to people who are going through the journey.
Absolutely. We'll sit back, enjoy the episode, and Courtland and I will see you live next week.
And so these photos, I think, really transform women from the chemotherapy chair to the location that you're at. And some of these locations are incredible. They're gorgeous. It looks like you're in Iceland in one of these pictures. How do you choose the location of where to go for these shoots?
Well, it's usually not like I'm going to go photograph in every national monument. It's like I didn't ever want it to be like that. I wanted it to be interesting. Using landscape and architecture and color and design and my background in art, and I just use that sensibility. So I would actually challenge myself to make a really mundane location and make it as good as it could look. And because I'm a commercial photographer, I have to make things look good when they don't actually look good. So on the road trip, we just kind of start driving around, and we would go to places we thought might be interesting, but a lot of it was like magical. Like we would end up in places we'd never been, and so I look for, like the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. That was kind of a no-brainer, And I thought it would be awesome to be in the room with Lincoln by myself. And I showed up on an afternoon and there was 1,100 people there. And I'm like, what do I do? I was on the phone with a friend and they said, sir, are there police there? And this was right before the Today Show, and I had stickers and I had pictures of what I've done. And she goes, just go up to the police and ask them. So I went up to 3 park police, young guys. They said, I showed them what I was doing. They said, come back at 3 in the morning and we'll help you. And I showed up an hour and a half late. And they said, sorry, you're late. I had already set up though, but they saw me on cameras in the office and they came out and said, you're late, because their boss was going to come and they didn't want him to know that we were doing this. And then I had already set up and I said, well, can't you talk to him? And I was asking tall orders, it was like unstoppable at this point. It's like, I'm here. It's 4:30 in the morning and I'm not coming back. And so they actually went down and talked to their boss, at the base of the stairs, and I was up there. He walks up the stairs, he goes, I guess you're the guy I need to talk to. And he had his decorations and white shirt on, and it was, almost 6 in the morning, and he said, do what you need to do, we got you covered. And I did the shot, and another aha moment was, as I was shooting, this runner comes up. He's 65 years old, great shape, and he kind of chuckles at me because I'm shooting and I'm in the tutu, and I said, oh, it's for a breast cancer initiative. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I did, but it was all the path. And he stops and he kind of looks at me and he slides his shorts down a little bit and showed me a scar, that he said I had my kidney removed a year ago. And he said, thanks for whatever you're doing, because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand and then he ran off. And then as he was running down the stairs, it was like 75 to 100 Marines were running up the stairs at me. And it was just like I knew. Like it wasn't about me anymore. It was like just by telling him that, I kind of touched, by showing him that, I touched him, and he responded, and then I think we were on the, we really went kind of worldwide like a week later.
Wow. So I have to tell you, it feels pretty good sitting here in this tutu. Do I look silly?
No.
You're asking me that?
No. So you got to go to thetutuproject.com, right? And check out some photos. I think you've got this, the 2017 calendar here,
Yes, we do.
loaded with great pictures. Go to the website, make a donation, get a calendar, buy a tutu. Go out, take some pictures, send them to Bob and Linda, put them on the Healthy O360 website. It's all good stuff, raising money for a great cause. So, Linda, you embark on this journey, and you're in the van and you're going out and taking some pictures. Is there one story that really sticks in your mind? Maybe, Bob, I think we better grab the tutu and shag out of here real quick because some stuff might be going down, or but one. Give me a story that really pops into your mind as like, this is really cool stuff.
Well, there's a lot of stories, but I'll do the first night when we were on this road trip. And we stopped in Atlantic City. And because we have a commercial, I'm Bob's producer. And so we kind of know how to scout locations. And we found this location kind of hidden behind a hill. And it said no trespassing, but we were on the road, so technically we weren't trespassing. So Bob walked up the hill, and he walked up the hill, and he had his back to me, and he was facing the highway. And he took a shot, and then he turned around. At that time, one police car came in, and then two police cars. And when we got to 4, I said, we could have a problem here. But they were very sweet. I pulled out his portfolio, and I explained what was going on. And at that point, it hadn't become officially the Tutu Project. They were really great, and as it turns out, all they wanted to do is get their picture taken. They had a new hybrid car, and they wanted Bob to take their picture with him and the police officers. But it was really funny, because you could hear on their little microphones, there's another sighting of the tutu on Borgata Way. I mean, all I could think of is it had to be a really slow night in Atlantic City.
Yeah. That's really cool. You're listening. This is another sighting of the guy in the tutu, right?
They were training all year just for that
Yeah.
call.
Exactly.
It was the first time the police had come, and so we had no idea. And I was actually out of the tutu, and they, it was kind of shocking because they wanted to take a picture of me with their new car. Can we position the car in the shot? And so we started setting it up, and we did the picture, and we emailed it to everybody, and then I posted it, I think 2 years ago, and I even got a correspondence from one of the cops that said he still had a picture on his refrigerator from the email that he made a print, and he said that we'll always remember that day, and that how great it was, but this was this was 2008, so this was 4 years before it went, and so all I remember is it was 5 cop cars, and then the police chief shows up, and he gets out, and he's like this very good looking guy in gray hair, and he just walks up to us and he goes, "Well, it looks like you guys have too much time on your hands," and he just got back in the car and left. He didn't say anything else.
That's a priceless story. I could just see it. Sir, we're going to have to ask you to put that tutu back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
right.
funny.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'd love to ask, are there any challenges that you guys have had as a foundation, other than trying to get your book published in 2008 and that didn't go as quickly as you'd planned, you have so many Facebook followers, maybe that doesn't translate into the actions that you want it to take.
That's exactly right. We have over 200,000 likes on our fans on Facebook, and it doesn't. I don't think people realize that. They see, we get a lot of media attention, and then they see that number and they think, well, we really might not need to help them, and that's not the case. We have a donation button, and we always need people to visit our website.
Even the smallest amounts can help.
Absolutely. It can be
Right.
$1, and that can make a significant difference.
You're so right. I mean, you think about that. We've got to turn these Facebook followers and these friends and these likes into donations, because at the end of the day, it's the people out there going through the fight and their families that this is all for, right? It's fun to sit there in the studio and share the stories and look at the beautiful pictures and the artwork. But at the end of the day, there's people being diagnosed with breast cancer and all types of cancer. And there's families that are affected. And I just look at, Healthy h360 came about because of a breast cancer story. So we've got to turn this into donations. Go to thetutuproject.com. Please get out there, make a donation, buy a calendar, buy a tutu. It's so important to really get the word out there, because without your help, these families are going to have a tough time. So do the right thing. And if you want to see me in a tutu again, you'll make some donations, and I will go into Central Park with this tutu on, and I will photograph myself, or better yet, I'm going to have Bob, because he can make anybody look good. You heard it, right? And so I'm hoping that you can do that with me. What I'm interested in is, Healthy h360, it's changed my life. I never in a million years thought I would be sitting here doing this. How has the Tutu Project changed your lives?
I think there's a lot of ways that it has changed our lives, but one thing has filled me with great pride is that we donated $100,000 to 11 nonprofits this year. And they're the ones that help us, because there's only 3 of us. So, and also, I would probably give money to anyone that asked me, just because of my own situation. So it's really exciting, and these nonprofits are helping us help other people. So that like button is important, but the donate button is even more important, because I think that we're making a significant difference in the lives of a lot of people.
Now, the donate button's on the website, thetutuproject.com.
Yes.
So again, please go there, donate. These families really need your support. Well, Bob,
And I think the one thing we need to really stress is that we help people, during their treatments when it's the hardest, and we help a lot of these families that deal with things that they never imagined. Like we talk about, they have their lives, they have their children, they have their work, and then on top of that, you throw in having to deal with this thing that alters their life forever. You have these treatments, you have insurance, dealing with insurance companies, and dealing with life on top of it is huge, and that's what we try to do. We try to alleviate the pressure as much as we can by giving them the money for the services that would be needed to help out.
Can you guys talk to us about any future or current projects that you're working on, in addition to the calendars and the Tutu Project?
Well, the Dare to Tutu Project, as your t-shirt so lovely displays, it's our October campaign. Although it goes throughout the year, it's really easy. You go to daretotutu.com and you take a picture of yourself, you post it, and you donate. I mean, that's a very simple version of it, but there's also ways for schools and businesses to join as well. But the fun part is we collect a lot of pictures of people in tutus, a lot of animals in tutus, once even a turtle in a tutu. So that's a great way to get involved, is daretotutu.com.
Excellent.
That's so awesome. Growing up, I grew up on a farm, and we had these cows running around, and I could just see, I'm picturing in my head, you talk about animals and tutus, but that's a story for another day. Any last few words about, project, or what advice would you give to women who are newly diagnosed?
Well, there's a lot of things that I'd say, but the big one I would say is that cancer is very difficult, and when you're first diagnosed, you can see, your world is upside down, and there's a whole new language that you have to learn. But I would say, just stick with it. Find your therapist or some sort of support group if you don't have a family, and be your own health advocate. And know that cancer is difficult, but it can be. You can live with it. I'm a perfect example. I have metastatic breast cancer, and I've had it for 10 years, and I really have a good life. And there's some days that that aren't great, but I have a lot more that are really good.
Yeah, that's such awesome advice. You know, Linda, you may have had cancer, but cancer didn't have you.
Absolutely right. And one thing that I don't think has been discussed here is 3 years ago, we met some really wonderful people, and they were sharing, or educating and sharing awareness about male breast cancer. And I think that's really important, just to throw that out there. I don't believe a lot of people understand that, although it's 1% that of the each year that men get breast cancer, it's very difficult because a lot of men, it's scary, and they don't think that they have breasts. So,
I think it's really important that we know that also, you know, we have a friend of ours that her brother or cousin, I think it was a cousin, that was diagnosed with breast cancer, a male, and she went and had the test for the gene, and she was positive. And so she did the surgery, you know, she had a mastectomy and hysterectomy because of him. And when after the surgery happened, they said, you were right on the cusp of it happening to you. So I think all the warning signs of men, you know, like, it crosses over. Mm-hmm. And so we're really proud to say that we are able to share that. And I think one thing that hasn't been said is, during this time, the day of when we were on the Today Show, we were approached by Bloomingdale's, and they are huge supporters of awareness to breast cancer, and they have a huge campaign in October, and they've been sponsoring us for 3 years now, and they're a huge sponsor for us, and without them, it's just haven't been able to, you know, go that far. So I would like to say that we have been given the opportunity to have 7 windows on 59th Street during the October. So I have 30 of my images in 7 windows, including 1 window that is for male breast cancer, that to show male breast cancer awareness. And we just want to thank Bloomingdale's for everything they've done, and the belief and support. And we want to thank Ann Keating at Bloomingdale's. She's been an amazing support to us.
Well, Ann, thank you for all of your work, and I thank Bloomingdale's as well. Okay, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for just a minute to wrap up the show. Couple points. Men, pay attention. If you can get breast cancer, get out there. Number 2, self-exam. When you're in the shower, examine, know your body, do a self-exam. So important. Early detection can save your life. So, you know, in the shower, take a few minutes, self-exam. Men, that includes you as well. Okay, the tutuproject.com, come to the website, get a calendar, look at some great photos, say hi to Bob and Linda. Also, dare to tutu.com, get a picture of yourself, send it in. You'll feel great about it. Put a tutu on your dog, put a tutu on your cow, whatever animal you have, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, significant other. I want to see everybody with tutus on, so dare the number 2 to tutu.com, right? Dare to tutu.com. Go there. Hit that donate button. Don't forget about that. That's the most important, because there are people out there in need of help. Well, Bob, Linda, thanks so much for coming on H360 Live today. I'd like to thank our viewers for tuning in, and I'd like to thank our sponsors, including the sponsor for Bob and Linda, Bloomingdale's, for making all of this happen. Remember, all of our episodes can be viewed on demand at healthyo360.com, and our podcast can always be found in the iTunes Store.
Well, we love social media, and we're all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest using the hashtag #RealStories when posting, and we'd greatly appreciate it if you would do the same. On behalf of Dave Duplay, myself, and the entire Healthyo360 family, we'd like to thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
I never had